There we go. All right. And if you're calling in, just go ahead and please mute your phone. And if you don't have a dedicated mute button, pressing *6 should mute your phone. And if you're using your computer audio, all participants have been muted. So during the Q&A session, you'll be able to unmute and ask a question. And you can also enter your questions into the chat and we'll read your questions out loud. This recording, as well as all the recordings of the other previous sessions that we've had, are going to be available on our website. And we're going ahead and get started today. I invite you, to those of you who are able to access the Zoom chat, just write your name, where you're from, and a favorite winter activity. What do you want to do in January? What's going on? So again, my name is Megan Pitas. I am calling in this morning from Piscataway land in rural Maryland, so not where it says here, where I was born and raised. I'm visiting with my family this week, but I moved to Alaska a little over a year and a half ago. My favorite winter activity this year has been knitting and learning to ice skate. But I also want to note that I live and work on Dinaina Atlena, so Dinaina homelands in Anchorage, and on APU's campus, where some of our offices for the Alaska Climate Adaptation Science Center are located. My academic background is in international relations and psychology, so my coursework looked at how climate change impacts human migration and international conflict. And my main hat that I wear is as a research associate with the Alaska Tribal Resilience Learning Network, who are hosting today's session. This is the Learning Network. So apart from hosting some super awesome, amazing information sessions every month, like this one, our team is also available for one-on-one check-in calls, providing technical assistance where we can serve as thought partners for project development or proposal writing. And we also have a monthly tribal resilience e-bulletin, as well as a listserv that go right to your emails with funding opportunities, events, and different kinds of trainings that we're hosting. Which, speaking of events and trainings and external things, I'm going to hand this off to Caitlin really quick, and she can tell you about another opportunity.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Caitlin Demoski, and I am the Assistant Tribal Liaison for the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society, and also a member of the Tribal Resilience Learning Network. Since we have sort of a youth engagement themed session today, I wanted to bring up that the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society currently has applications open for our national summer youth practicum. So we hold an annual national summer youth practicum, and it's an opportunity for Alaska Native or Native American youth to gain hands-on and in-lecture experience in the interdisciplinary components of natural resource management and indigenous knowledge. One of the goals of this summer youth practicum is for Native youth to understand the importance of professional natural resource management and the interconnectedness to our cultures, as well as encourage them to continue their education and pursue careers in the natural resource fields. So for our national summer youth practicum, the applications are now open, and they are due May 5th at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. And this program is free. We pay for all travel, food, and lodging. It's about a week long, and it'll take place sort of towards the end of July in 2023. And coming soon, I am currently working on, with our team, planning the Alaska Regional Summer Youth Practicum. So that'll be a week-long camp with the same goals and in mind for Alaska Native youth. So stay tuned for more on that. But again, our national summer youth practicum is open for Alaska Native youth and Native American youth all over the country, and they will be flying to Colorado. So it's a really great program, and please email me or call me if you have any questions. Thanks.
Sweet. Thank you, Caitlin. And just as a reminder too, all of the resources and things that are shared today are going to be linked up on our website with the recording. So if you don't want to write this down or you're on the phone right now, we can also send out that information that way. And now to get into what you really came for, which is all the fun mountain views and youth having fun. So this past summer, I had the immense privilege of being the on-site coordinator for Girls on Ice, one of the 3 expeditions put on by Inspiring Girls Alaska, which Sarah is going to talk a bunch more about today, and Rachel as well. But I just wanted to show really quickly how cool Girls on Ice was because I am biased. And there's me on the left, and there's a few of our participants and on the right. And then here on the right, they're working with our art instructor, Hannah, going through a drawing exercise that's based on place and being present just before participants went up to the glacier itself. And Girls on Ice takes place on Atna Nen or Atna homelands, and the Atna place name for one of the areas that the team spends a bunch of time in is Kolkenalu, which is Cutting Stream Glacier, Gulkana Glacier. And with that little fun teaser, we would like to welcome Sarah Clement and Rachel Lankenoff. Sarah is the program coordinator for Inspiring Girls Expeditions Alaska and a PhD candidate in natural resources and sustainability on the Trothiada campus at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. And Rachel recently began a new position with the Cowalingan Tribe of Unalaska as their fisheries manager. This past summer, she also served as the on-site coordinator for Girls in the Forest. And with that, I will hand it off to them to do their intros as they please and get started talking about all the things we came to talk about today.
Thank you, Megan. I'm going to share my screen. Let's make sure that this works. How does that look? Great. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. As Megan mentioned, Rachel and I are here to talk about a program called Inspiring Girls Expeditions Alaska. I'm going to dive into all of the specifics of our program, but we are a program based at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and we run free summer field science and art expeditions for teenage youth, girls, and transgender, agender, two-spirit, non-binary, intersex, and genderqueer youth. So before we dive in, I just want to introduce myself. Megan covered a lot of it already, but my name is Sarah Clement. I use she, her pronouns. I grew up in Seattle, Washington on Duwamish lands. I saw there was another Seattleite in the audience, which is great. I'm the Alaska program coordinator for Inspiring Girls Expeditions. So I work at the University of Alaska Fairbanks and manage all of the behind the scenes aspects of getting these programs off the ground each summer. I also had the immense pleasure of being one of the Girls in the Forest instructors last year with Rachel, which was my first time getting to instruct an expedition and was just a huge highlight. We had a virtual reunion with our 9 participants last night, actually. So we got to hear all about for some of them, it was their first semester of college. Others are submitting college applications and finishing up their last year of high school, deciding what they're going to do next. And it was just just huge, warm, fuzzy moment getting to talk to all of them last night. And as Megan mentioned, when I'm not doing Inspiring Girls program coordination, I am a PhD candidate in science education at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Rachel, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Sounds good. Yeah, like Megan and Sarah said, my name is Rachel Lankenoff. I'm currently based in Anchorage, Alaska on Dena'ina lands. Actually grew up close to where Sarah grew up in Olympia, Washington. Found my way up to Alaska for graduate school, then moved to Anchorage for this fisheries job. I worked the last 2 years. I've worked as the on-site coordinator for Girls in the Forest, which is a lot of like logistics. I pick up the participants at the front end of the expedition, make sure they get home on the back end of the expedition. But really gotten into pack rafting because of this expedition, and just for fun, I put this very pretty picture of a beach out in Unalaska. It's where my family's from, so I'm a tribal member, so I'm really happy to be able to work for my tribe now in their fisheries program. Yeah.
Thanks, Rachel. Yes, that is a gorgeous photo. Great. So I'm going to start by giving a brief overview of the three core components of all of our expeditions, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the some of the logistics of attending the program and how to apply, and then answer any of your questions. So I'm assuming that a lot of people on the call are maybe connected with youth who might be interested in these programs. So I'm going to try to target it or try to provide information for you as someone who might be passing this information along to someone who might be interested. So the three core components of every expedition that we run are field science, art, and outdoor exploration. So for each expedition, we have an ecosystem focus. The goal is not just to learn about the ecosystem as a whole, not just one aspect. Though exactly what parts of the ecosystem we focus on kind of depends on the instructors. One of the unique things about our expeditions is that our curriculum shifts every year depending on who our instructors are. So for Girls on Ice Alaska, we often have glaciologists and geologists who are our instructors, but sometimes we have oceanographers as our science instructors, I should say. So the aspects of science that we focus on kind of shifts depending on the year. Every expedition has at least one science instructor, and we often bring guest instructors in for a day to lead activities related to their areas of expertise, so participants get multiple perspectives and get a more holistic view of the ecosystem. And after a few days of learning about the place that they're in on the expedition, the participants get to start asking their own questions, and they form small groups to come up with their own research projects. So they spend the rest of the expedition collecting data for their own special projects. And then at the end of the expedition, they get back to town, they analyze all of their data, figure out what it means, draw conclusions, and then they get to present their findings to a public audience. And this often is one of the pieces that sounds the most scary and intimidating to participants at the beginning of the program. But we often find that participants say they really like the public presentation at the end because they get to be able to tell stories about their expedition. And then we always have a very supportive audience. One of the other core components of every expedition is art. So just like the teams learn about the expedition environments through science, we also explore our surroundings through art. Just like we have a science instructor, we have an art instructor on our instructor team every year, and we usually explore the landscape through visual art like sketching and painting, but instructors have brought in other art forms over the years. So for example, in 2022, 2 of our expeditions did a lot of cyanotyping, which you can see in the lower right-hand corner here. It's a kind of exposure. It's like an old form of photography where when you expose fabric or paper to light, you can get different shades of blue depending on what objects you put on the material, which was a really big hit with all of our participants. And one of the unique aspects of our program is that we really focus on the intersection of art and science. So all of our science groups, when they're doing their special research projects, are encouraged to have a creative component to their science presentations to explore how art and science can be linked to make a more cohesive and compelling story that they're trying to tell. And then finally, we do all of this outside. So people who want to be field scientists or want to use nature as an inspiration for their art, or hope to go on to have a career in land management, or just want a better awareness of their surroundings and abilities to spend time outside, have to learn how to travel and live outside comfortably. So that's what we practice. Each expedition has a specific mode of travel. So for our Alaskan expeditions, we have mountaineering, pack rafting, and sea kayaking. And if our participants have never done these things before, like it's not common that our participants have gone mountaineering on a glacier before, that's totally fine. A lot of our participants have never even been camping before. So we start with the basics of keeping ourselves warm and dry and potentially unfavorable weather conditions, and then progress from there. And by the end of the expeditions, we have teams summiting local peaks in the Alaska range, or pack rafting down rivers, doing a long paddle across Ketchikan Bay, and becoming experts in their mode of travel. And Rachel, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right. Yeah. In addition to focusing on learning new things about the outdoors and experiencing different things, new things, one thing that IG is really trying to emphasize, and has emphasized in the past, but has had a little bit of trouble getting some traction here, is just attracting more Alaska natives and just Alaskans in general. I think just coming from as a tribal member, I was introduced to this organization, thought it was awesome, and it is awesome. I've also noticed like the demographics, like we really want to target the individuals that are coming from maybe different or like disadvantaged and economic backgrounds, or, you know, for various reasons. And I think part of that barrier stems from these youth, these potential participants, just not seeing folks in these outdoor, in these scientific, or in these artists occupations, like not seeing folks that look like them. So for me, it's been really important to get out, like as the coordinator, just, you know, be comfortable out in the environment as a Native American, as a scientist in, or a Native American in science, just demonstrating that this space can be for us. Yeah, IG has been super welcoming about that, and we just really want to reach out to more tribal entities and get their youth involved, because for me, I really wish I would have had an opportunity like this as a kid. I think it would have gone a long way in just getting me more comfortable early on in a science career, more comfortable getting into the outdoors early on. So yeah, IG has been super helpful for me growing personally and professionally. So yeah, we just want to get more representation out there, and I'm happy to help with any tribal entities or any youth that might have questions about it. So yeah.
Great. Thank you, Rachel. Just a few expedition logistic or like program logistics. All of our expeditions are free. So no tuition, food and gear are provided. We tell participants that they can arrive with the clothes they're wearing and a toothbrush, and we'll provide the rest. The only cost that we ask participants to contribute is some or all of their travel cost. And the reason that we do that is we fundraise for all of these expeditions to be able to offer them tuition free. And we have some travel money that we can offer participants to help them get from their homes to the expedition site. But we do find that asking people to pay for part or all of their travel both helps participants have a sense of ownership over their expedition, because they're in many cases, they are raising the funds themselves to pay for part of their plane ticket. And it also gives them a little bit of incentive to show up, like they do have some money invested in the program, and it's a good way to encourage people to follow through. So, and that being said, if the travel is prohibitively expensive, we work with every participant. We don't want the cost of travel to be the reason that someone can't participate. All of our expeditions are 12 days in length, and that usually means about 8 days in the backcountry with a few days in town on either end of the expedition. We have a really strong emphasis on safety and risk management and supportive learning. So all of our instructors are certified wilderness first responders, which is an 80-hour wilderness medical certification. And we have I should have mentioned this when talking about the outdoor component, but our third instructor on all of our instructor teams is an outdoor guide. And many of our guides have professional certifications from like the American Mountain Guide Association or the American Canoe Association. So we put a strong emphasis on risk management and safety on these expeditions. We're also, some of the highlights for all of our participants are the lasting friendships that they make. We bring participants from all across Alaska and the lower 48 for these expeditions. And many of them remain friends for years to come. And we also have a strong post-expedition community and mentoring And we're working on more of an official alumni network where we can offer opportunities for our alumni. But for now, our instructors put a lot of effort into staying in touch with their participants, providing things like job recommendations or college recommendations, letting people know about opportunities that they might be interested in that are similar to Inspiring Girls. So there's the expedition, the experience isn't over when the expedition ends. So I do want to talk briefly. There's always, we're kind of a moving target in terms of how our organization is formed. Inspiring Girls Expeditions was actually started in Washington State in 1999. And the Inspiring Girls Alaska branch started at the University of Alaska Fairbanks in 2012. So I and Rachel are here today to talk about Inspiring Girls Alaska, which is Girls on Ice Alaska, Girls on Water, and Girls in the Forest. But we do have all of these other branches across the world that offer other expeditions as well. So like I saw in the chat that someone is from Canada. We do actually have several expeditions in Canada as well. And I'm happy to answer what questions I can about other branches, but our primary expertise is in Inspiring Girls Alaska. So these are just a really simple map of where each of our expeditions take place throughout Alaska, and we're going to dive into the specifics of our 3 programs now. So our first is Girls on Ice Alaska, which Megan mentioned. She was the on-site coordinator for this past summer. This year, our Girls on Ice Alaska expedition is going to be from June 9th to the 20th. This expedition really focuses on alpine ecosystems, and then the mode of travel is mountaineering. So as I mentioned earlier, our science instructors are often glaciologists and geologists, but we've also had oceanographers too, talking about the connection between glaciers and the ocean, which has been really neat. It does take place on Golcana Glacier in the Eastern Alaska Range, and the start and end of the expedition is in Fairbanks at the university. Our second expedition is Girls on Water, which is going to take place from June 30th to July 11th this year. This expedition has a coastal ecosystems focus, usually focusing on marine biology and oceanography, but again, depends on the makeup of the instructor team. And the mode of travel is sea kayaking. This expedition takes place in Kachemak Bay, specifically Tutka Bay, and the start and end of the expedition is in Homer. And I had a note here that this expedition, we weren't sure it was going to run because we were still wrapping up the rest of our finding funding for this expedition, but we have found it and it will be running this year, which we are very excited about. And I'm going to turn it over to Rachel to talk about Girls in the Forest.
Yeah, so Girls in the Forest is the 3rd expedition that runs in Alaska. It's usually, or is the last one that runs in Alaska. This year it will run from July 31st to August 11th. This one focuses on boreal forest ecosystems. So a lot of the interior Alaska is a boreal forest ecosystem. They're impacted by wildfires and such. Wildfire ecology tends to be the focus depending on the science instructor team makeup. It's a lot of pack rafting down the Chena River, which is a really nice, you can see flat, calm river here. And then also a lot of day hikes. So participants have a chance to go hike along all of these ridges with forests and view get up close and see a lot of the lands that are scarred by previous wildfires. This one is a little more base camping. There's so we're not really backpacking or rafting down the river place to place, but there's a really nice base camp we've been able to use, and it's just a really nice removed environment that's a good picture of what interior Alaska is like.
Great. So yeah, those are the programs that we'll be offering in 2023. And the way that we select teams, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. We have 3 instructors per expedition and then 9 participants. So 27 participants total for Inspiring Girls Alaska each each summer. And the way that we select our teams is through an application process. And this webinar is conveniently and purposefully timed because our application is open now until January 30th. So if you're hearing about this program and thinking of a few teenagers who this might be a good opportunity for, the goal for the rest of the presentation is to walk you through what the application looks like. And so that you can help, if you're so inclined, you can help these teens that you're thinking of submit applications to be considered. So this looks like a big long list of, this is what our application involves. A lot of these things are quite short and easy to fill out. We have a basic information, just put in your contact information, how you heard about the program. Expedition selection is exactly what it sounds like. We ask all of our applicants to select which expeditions they'd like to apply for. We don't guarantee that they will be, like if someone puts that they really want to go on Girls in the Forest, it might be that we don't have space on Girls in the Forest, but we do on Girls on Ice Alaska. So whatever expedition a participant gets selected for, they're going to have a fabulous time, but we do try to take their preferences into account as best we can. There are a few, what I couldn't think of a better word other than multiple choice. There's a few questions about, like, you know, what's your favorite, or what's your preferred, like, what are your favorite subjects in school? Tell us a little bit about you, those kinds of questions. And then a few short answer questions on why do you want to participate in the program? What does science mean to you? How do you use art in your daily life? Short essay questions like that that are designed to be no more than a paragraph or two. And we have a couple of other components to the application that are focused on things like the field expedition questionnaire is focused on health and well-being, so that we can make sure that we're building teams that we can support in the field. And the challenge question is often one of the most fun and creative parts of the application. Participants have a chance to do a sit spot or some other sort of creative component to contribute to their application. And then probably most relevant for the folks on this call, we do ask each applicant to submit 2 teacher recommendations. If they only have 1 teacher recommendation, we don't penalize them for that, but we do like to see 2. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the teacher recommendations on the next slide. And then finally, we do, if people are willing to contribute a $25 application fee, that helps us continue. That's just one more way that we gather funds to run our programs tuition free, but it's optional and we don't connect whether an applicant pays with their application. So it's a way to support the program and it's totally optional. Okay. So to dive a little bit more specifically into the teacher and mentor recommendations, this isn't just a free form letter. There's an actual form on our website that gets filled out. And these are the questions that we ask. How long have you known the applicant? How would you describe them? Why do you think they would benefit from participating in this program? What are they passionate about? What's their learning style? And is there anything else you want to tell us about the applicant? And these teacher or mentor recommendations really help us get a holistic picture of the applicant and how best we can support them in having a fun and beneficial experience on their expedition. And I listed all of the questions here because the specific questions that are listed on the participant application are actually previewed on our website, and I'm going to give you the link in a few slides so you can check it out if you want, but we don't have the teacher recommendation up there. So those are the questions that we ask. In general, when we are reviewing applications, we are looking for applicants who demonstrate that they're curious about the world around them. We really try to intentionally build teams that have a diversity of backgrounds, a diversity of interests. So usually we strive to have a team where a couple of participants are really interested in science, a couple are really interested in art, maybe some have experience camping or mountaineering or sea kayaking, and they can be peer leaders in teaching their fellow participants how to do these skills. And we're also looking for, a diversity of personalities, extroverts, introverts, and a diversity of folks who have just different goals, different life interests, or different career goals, life interests, that kind of thing. And then finally, we are looking for participants who might not otherwise be able to participate in a program like this. Comparable programs cost thousands of dollars, and we would really like to target folks who might not otherwise have this opportunity. And when we are evaluating our applications, we are not necessarily looking for people who have the best grades in school. We don't ask for school transcripts and don't particularly care how you do in school or whether you like school or not. We don't evaluate perfect grammar or spelling. We're not evaluating the length of responses. We do have character limits on our short answer questions, but if they're shorter than that, that's not a problem. And we're not necessarily looking for people who have, done all of the science experiences or have experienced art training in art before and whatnot. We really like it, and we prioritize having participants who have not had these experiences before. So applications for our 2023 expeditions are due January 30th. And this is the link here. You can see a preview of the application questions on our website. And then the way to apply is also listed on our website. And I think I have it on the next slide as well. And the last thing that I will note, we do part of our application process and our relationship with other Inspiring Girls branches is the expeditions that take place in the United States do share an application. So if I go back, I'm just going to click back through to here. So when you log into the website to start your application, you will see that all of the expeditions for Alaska, Girls on Rock, and Oregon State University share one application. And so if you apply, you will actually be considered for the Alaska expeditions as well as Girls on Rock and Girls in Icy Fjords. And you can rank which ones you'd like to participate in. And I'm just realizing that probably the most important thing that I did not list on this slide is who can apply, or list in this presentation is who can apply. And it's youth who are 16 to 18 years old on June 1st of the expedition year. So if someone is 16 to 18 on June 1st, 2023, they are eligible to apply. And I think with that, I'll leave that up. Rachel, do you have anything else you want to add before we take questions?
I think that was great coverage. I just want to note about the application process. Like we're also, I've helped with the reviewers in the past. So I just want to say we're aware that especially teenagers might not always be comfortable writing about themselves in depth. So it's a-okay if these are very brief, succinct applications, as long as we can tell, get a sense that they're interested in science or interested in outdoors, interested in new experiences. That's what we're looking for. So.
Yes, absolutely. And I see, someone asked for our emails. Thanks, Rachel, for putting those in the chat. You can also connect with us on social media, check out our website, or view that preview of the application there as well. So I think I'll leave this up for a little bit, and then we'd be happy to take any questions.
I think Rita has a question. Go ahead, Rita.
Hi, thank you, ladies. Wonderful program. Really excited. My daughter, Danica's on the call. She had asked, or we're both wondering, is that June 1, 16 firm? She turned 16 on June 11 and will be 16 at travel. And so
Yeah, unfortunately, we do hold firm to that June 1 deadline just because it's just to make it fair to all applicants. But if you're turning 16 this year, it means that you have 3 years of eligibility starting in 2024. And we have funding to run programs for at least the next several years confirmed. And we plan to keep running programs beyond that as well.
No. So sad. She participated in, I saw somebody from NAF, the Native American Fish and Wildlife Service. And so she did their program last year. And
Wonderful.
I think it might be a little bit more challenging, right? Because she's going to be a junior and then next year she'll be a senior. And so, you know, everybody's, I think the more you age up, the more challenging it is to grab these kids. And so if that happens to change, then let me know.
I will. Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations in the wider Inspiring Girls community over the years about what age ranges we are targeting, and the consensus from the wider community is that we would like to invite participants who are nearing the end of their high school careers and trying to decide what to do next as a way to kind of show them other options that maybe they haven't considered before. And yeah, it's really hard to make that cutoff, but yeah, we have to draw a line somewhere.
All right. Thank you. I think we're going to hop off the call. Thank you.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Rita, before you hop off the call, I don't know what the age cutoff is for I know you said your daughter already participated in the NAFWIS one. Caitlin, not to put you on the spot, but do you know what the age cutoff would be?
Yeah, no, thank you. So you said your daughter turned 16 on early June, right?
June 11.
So the age, awesome. Yeah, the age cutoff for
yeah, she participated in the program last year and is one of the 4 finalists that will probably be in Anchorage since
at our
so well
conference.
So yeah,
that's exciting. Yeah, so the age cutoff for our Alaska Regional Summer Youth Practicum for the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society this summer, hopefully the end of June, is going to be 16 to 18. So
okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to be in touch with you about that if she'd be interested in attending it again. So
okay, maybe you could post your email in chat and she and I can connect with you separate from this call. Really appreciate it. Thank you. That's exciting.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Chapala, did you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk. I have the similar situation. My daughter will turn 16 on June 15th. So just for 2 weeks, so she cannot apply, right? That's what you were talking about.
Sorry, I think you're
Sorry, I'm muted. Correct. We do hold that June 1st deadline firm. And I would really encourage her to apply in 2024.
Okay, and I have one more question.
Sure.
I'm talking from Calgary, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just now I received an email that I found some information in the Facebook, but I haven't got the opportunity to explore all those. So do you recommend her in Canadian spots, not in Alaska? I'm a little confused. Can you please help me to understand?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So we do have a couple of expeditions, or we have a branch called Girls on Ice Canada that's based in it's falling out of my head right now, Canmore. I believe they're based in Canmore. And they run three Girls on Ice expeditions. They have similar age eligibility that we do. So 16 to 18 on June 1st of the expedition year. And their expeditions take place in one in British Columbia, one in the Yukon, and then actually it's 2 in British Columbia, excuse me, one on the Illecillewaet Glacier and one in the Kootenays Mountains. And they're for Girls on Ice Canada, they do prioritize Canadian residents. So for Inspiring Girls Expeditions Alaska, we prioritize Alaska residents based on we get our funding from the National Science Foundation, and they ask us to prioritize Alaska residents. We are open to everybody, but that's kind of how that works. And for Canada, they prioritize Canadian residents.
Oh, okay. So for Alaska one, you do not encourage to apply from Canada?
We don't say encourage, we're open to Canadian applicants, and we do accept Canadian applicants. We usually do no more than one international resident on expeditions in any given year. But you're welcome. Canadian residents are welcome to apply.
Oh, okay, but my daughter is a US citizen, but she lives here with us. So yeah. So so if I can get you correctly, so you are saying that for her, Girls on Ice Canada, which is in Canmore based, that one would be more applicable. That's what you were saying for next year? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got my answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rita, I saw your hand. Did you have another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just heard about the Alaska part. If Danica and I are tribal members enrolled in Alaska tribes and still have strong relationship connections to our home area, is she eligible to apply if we live in Washington?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone is eligible to apply, and we will make note. Our funding agencies encourage us to prioritize people who live in Alaska or have connections to Alaska, like enrolled tribal members. So we make note of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Were there any other questions for anybody in the Zoom room today, or on the phone line, actually? Okie dokie, seeing none, I think everybody, or Sarah, Caitlin, and Rachel have sent their information in the chat, but just as a reminder, we're also going to send them out as well over email, and they'll be on our website and everything. And then Sarah, if I could take back control really quickly of the screen. Thank you. I just want to do a few other quick little housekeeping things. We just wanted to say thank you all for attending today. Here is a list of a few of our contacts for the Alaska Tribal Resilience Learning Network in general, in case you had any other questions or you are interested in any of the things that I mentioned earlier, like technical support or joining our listserv or anything. And then there's a couple reminders about dates. So for the Inspiring Girls Alaska applications, they are due January 30th. So that application is available on the Inspiring Girls website, as well as the NAFWIS Summer Youth Practicum applications for the National Conference are due May 5th. And for the Learning Network, we have a forthcoming Alaska Tribal Resilience Learning Network, Strengthening Resilience Today training. So that is going to be available, and that will be out on all of our social media, on our listserv, and on our e-bulletin as well. And we'll have more information about what you can do for those. So one last ask, if there are any questions, we're available and happy to answer, and I can stick around for the next little bit if people don't want to ask it in the big room. But seeing none, thank you all so much for joining today, and please apply to Inspiring Girls. We love having applicants, and we love having especially Alaskan applicants, so please go ahead and apply, and we wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay warm, stay happy, stay healthy.
Thank you,
Can
everybody.
I talk to Rachel for a minute? It's something else. It's not about this program.
Sure, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, but yeah,
Sure.
As long as Rachel's cool with it, fine.
Yeah, thank you. Rachel, can you